I think
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, awesome. So, Kyle, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing phenomenal. How about yourself?
Doing phenomenal, bro. Can't complain. So, guys, if anybody that's watching this right here is Kyle. He's one of my top students in the SEA. He's crushing it right now when it comes to sales. So today I have an amazing call with him. We're gonna go ahead and talk about everything, from him before joining the program to then working with me to results, everything like that, and get a little bit of take on what it was like for him, through his journey, his process, everything like that. So you guys can kind of get an idea, right? So with that being said, Kyle, super excited. So, bro, I want to go ahead. I want to start from the beginning, right? Like the very beginning, before you joined SEA, before you got into sales, before everything, right? What were you doing for work? Where did you start? Like, what was the process? Tell me your story.
Yeah, so like before I started sales, I was doing construction. So I was working construction like 40 to 50 hours a week. I'll be making around $1,000 a week, I would say.
Mhm.
And I just had a lot of, I didn't have a lot of time for my family because I had to work a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And by family, do you mean intermediate family, like parents, or like you have like
Now I
wife?
have a wife and a daughter.
Dang. Okay. How old are you?
Me, I'm 20.
Bro, you're young. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay, good, bro. So, all right. So you have a daughter, you got a wife, and you were working construction. What specifically in construction were you doing?
just like carpentry.
Carpet. Oh, you were like on top of roofs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang, that's dangerous. How long did you do that for before you joined into like doing sales and stuff?
Before sales, I would say about a year or so. Yeah.
Okay, okay, gotcha. And
After
what? And did you try anything else also, like while you were doing like construction? Did you try anything like other than sales?
I
Meaning like I remember when I was working a 9 to 5, like when I was working a job and everything like that. Like I was doing trading, I was trying drop shipping, I was trying e-commerce, I was trying social media marketing, I was trying everything, right? So the
yeah.
whole you try anything else or was you just went straight into sales?
So I tried drop shipping
Okay.
and that, like I got like 2 to 300 off that, but it didn't work out a lot because had to test products, so I had to spend a lot of money into it.
Mm,
And yeah,
gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And of course, you have a kid, you weren't able to like, just throw money like that, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And bro, question for you then. I'm curious, right? What piece of advice would you give to somebody that, wants to get into sales, that's trying to get into sales? Like what piece of advice would you give somebody?
Honestly, I think they should 100% go for it,
Yeah.
because like I said, I was working construction before, so I didn't have a lot of time for my family, so I was trying to look for a job where, I didn't have to put a lot of money down and I could have like more time, freedom, I would say, with my family. Because sales is commission,
Hmm.
so the more I try to sell, the more I get paid,
Yeah.
and you know, I have more freedom with my like more time with my family.
I like that, man. And question, when you were in construction, how much were you making doing that?
I was making like 1,000 a week, I would say.
Dang. And I know you mentioned, right, well, before I even into how much, you were able to make while joining the program, what made you decide to get into sales, Because like there's so many other business models. There's so many ways you can make money online nowadays, right? There's like a million ways to make $1 million. So what
Yeah,
made you decide like, all right, let me get into sales?
yeah. So I saw that sales, I wouldn't have to like keep. For an example, I told you I did drop shipping. I wouldn't have to keep testing, um, you know, products, and it's like commission based, so I would have like the freedom I would want with my family. I would have more time with my family, and then it's like the more I grind on sales and the more I get paid. I also wanted a job that would pay me more.
Okay, gotcha. And I know you mentioned like now for anybody that's watching this, literally you were making let's say 1,000 a week, right? Working
Yeah,
12-hour days, freaking for 7 days straight for you to even make let's say $1,000, right? Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then tell them about your first day, like your first day after you joined SCA, after you joined the program, after you joined the coaching and mentorship. The first day, how much did you make, and what was the process like of you getting that deal?
Yeah. So the first day, ever since I joined SCA, I joined the call. I was a little bit shy, with the students there and everything, and then Leo just, gave me so much information. I was just like interested in everything. So as soon as, we finished the call with all the information he gave me, I wanted to take action. So then I went to the list of people I had in my contact, and I started calling people if they needed help with anything. And then that's where I found like someone wanted to paint their business and their house, and I knew people that had like their own painting company. So I just connected both of them, and I got a commission off that.
And how
Which
much was the deal that you sold? Like
it
what
was 12,000.
and then how much did you make off of that?
I got made 10%, so 1,200.
Wow, that's crazy. And how long did it take you to close that deal?
Bro, it was about like 30 minutes max.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
juicy. And bro, what was your mindset after you closed that deal? You made $1,200 in your first day after joining the program. When previously for a year, you were literally working for what, like 7 days, 12-hour days, 7 days straight to make even 1 grand, and you made that in 30 minutes. Like, what happened? Like, what changed in your mindset? I'm curious. Like, what
Bro,
was your action?
I just wanted more, you know? Like,
Really?
yeah, I'm just like always hungry now. I was like, shit, if I made that in 30 minutes, I can always make more, you know?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
like that, bro. I like that, bro. Because I'm like, for me, when I got into sales, before I got into sales, I was very shy, very, antisocial, all that stuff. Didn't have that much confidence, that much belief, right? And
Yeah.
I couldn't even speak correctly, right? But what was that for you? Like, how do you think you've changed as a person, other than, of course, the money? How do you think you changed as a person before joining the program, before SEA, before learning how to sell to like now?
I would say like I was closed mind before I joined the program.
Hmm.
Like I didn't know it was possible like that I could make this much money like this, you know, just like from the family tree, you always just gotta work, work, work if you want to get somewhere. So like ever since I joined, a lot changed. Like my person has changed. I would say now I'm always hungry to get like stuff done.
Yeah.
I would say yeah.
And as a person, you mean your character has changed?
Yes, yes.
Bro, and I know you have a wife. What has she mentioned anything about like your difference or like how you were before to now? Like has she mentioned anything?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like she said this before. Like before, I was mad lazy. Like I just didn't want to
Really?
do anything.
Really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and now she's just like, bro, you need to take a break because I'm just always like, on top of shit, just
Oh,
trying to
wow.
get stuff done. Try to get people like new leads in and everything.
Yeah, that's good, bro. That's
Yeah.
good. That's awesome. Okay, good, bro. And bro, at the end of the day, right? Have you before you joined the program, did you ever invest into like a mentorship or coaching program in the past?
I only invested into like a personal trainer.
Okay.
Now, yeah,
And how long did you do the personal training for?
it was about like 2 to 3 months.
Gotcha. What do you think is different? Like, and I have two questions, but the first question is, what do you think was different from when you did that personal training, right, for fitness compared to when you did the program for SEA? What do you think what the biggest differences were?
Bro, honestly, one I was making more money and one was I was making less. But
Yeah.
but I mean, also in the SEA, I feel like I have 24-hour support. Like
Hmm.
whenever I need help with anything, like you're always available
Hmm.
to help me. So I feel like that's something that was really good for me as well.
Hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, good. And my second question is because I know you've probably, and how much did you invest into that personal trainer in the past?
It was like 250 a month.
Okay, so like in total, like what, $600, $700?
Yeah, yeah, around there.
All right. And a lot of people, bro, when they invest into themselves or like even for personal training and programs and all this stuff, sometimes like don't get it wrong, there's like bad apples out there. Like just like
Yeah.
example relationships. You're not gonna find the perfect partner that you're gonna marry the first day. It takes time,
Yeah.
going bad apples before you find a good apple. And a lot of people when they go through a mentorship, they're just like, oh no, I'm done. Or if they've never even invested into themselves, they're like scared to invest into themselves, right? So what would you say to those people that are scared to invest or have been burnt in the past? Like what would you say to those people?
I feel like if you want to, change your life, you gotta invest.
Mm,
Like, of course, you gotta be careful with the bad apples out there and everything. But, you know, nothing in life is free. So if you wanna be successful and learn a skill, you gotta invest into yourself.
hmm.
It's a lot of people do invest into themselves by buying, car or all these like material wise. But what's more important, you or a piece of metal?
Exactly. I like that. Okay, good, bro. And question for you, bro. I mean, what would you say, is what would you say helped you out the most inside the program? Because I know I do offer a lot of different, things inside my program and stuff, but what do you think specifically helped you out the most in SEA?
Honestly, the one-on-one calls helped
Mm-hmm.
me out a lot. Just gave me a lot of information where I can apply to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was like a big one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Phone calls. I like that. Okay, good, bro. I love it. And with that being said, do you have anything you want to say to the people?
Bro, y'all need to swipe up and join the program if you want to change your life.
I like it. Okay, good, man. Well, Kyle, listen, it was a pleasure, brother. With that
Anytime.
being said, what was I gonna say? Yeah, with that being said, brother, it was a pleasure speaking to you, brother. If anybody that's watching this, go ahead, watch Kyle. He's filling it in the game right now. And if you guys want to go ahead, I have a bunch of other student interviews like Sam, like JB also. So with that being said, it was a pleasure, brother. Have a great rest of your day. All right,
All right, Sam, you too.
let's do it.
Peace.